Good morning, Bishop Lynch. Today is Wednesday, October 3rd, 2018. I'm Max Danielson, and you're watching this week's edition of Across Campus. If you've been keeping up with the recent news, Hurricane Florence has been ripping through the Carolinas and down the East Coast. Edward Brady has a little bit more about Hurricane Florence on this week's edition of Education.
With how many current events that are going on in today's world, it can be quite difficult to keep up with everything. That's why in this bi-weekly series, I will be attempting to sum up a current event into an easily understandable and discussable topic. I'm Edward Brady, and this is Education.
In the world of news, heinous news floods the televisions on a daily basis. In Dallas, Texas, the dedicated detective Edward Brady investigates these news stories as part of an elite squad known as the Education Unit. These are their stories.
Despite only being a Category 1 hurricane at the time of landfall, the death toll is substantial. According to CBS, at least 42 deaths have now been attributed to Hurricane Florence, according to officials. There were 31 deaths in North Carolina, 9 in South Carolina, and 2 in Virginia. Well over half of those were killed in vehicles.
The areas in which hurricanes most form are usually the Atlantic coast, Hawaiian Islands, and the Gulf of Mexico. The reason for this is tropical and subtropical latitudes actually pull the hurricanes towards the Atlantic coast. So Florida, North Carolina, and Louisiana will have the most hurricanes due to the fact that it pulls it towards land instead of pulling it towards the ocean.
So in between hurricanes, categories can be changed, and this is done by the maximum velocity of the hurricane as well as the damage dealt by the hurricane. So for example, a Category 1 hurricane has wind speeds at 74 miles per hour to 95 miles per hour. So a Category 2 hurricane would be at 96 miles per hour. So that 1 mile per hour change is what changes that category, as well as the damage caused by the hurricane.
The amount of property damage caused by Hurricane Florence is absolutely staggering. According to MSN, early estimates show the storm caused as much as $22 billion in damage.
Some signs of a hurricane are things like increased ocean swell, increased barometric pressure, higher winds, and also heavier rainfall. But a hurricane is actually really hard to predict until it's close to making landfall. Typically, when there's a hurricane about to make landfall, there's going to be a number of warning signs. It will be all over the news, and you'll get emergency notices on your phone, on the TV, on the radio. They also put it up on highway signs and stuff like that.
The rainfall has been the true threat of Hurricane Florence. According to CBS, the Cape Fear River was measured at 61.5 feet. Nearly 36 inches of rain have fallen over Elizabethtown, North Carolina, while other towns have seen roughly 30 inches.
Hurricanes Harvey and Maria caused up to $276 billion worth of damage, while Irma caused up to $51 billion in damage.
The aftermath of Hurricane Florence has caused many problems for the locals. According to CBS, more than 1,000 other roads from major highways to neighborhood lanes are closed in the Carolinas. Some of them have been washed out entirely. 343,000 people are without power in North Carolina alone. I hope you've learned something from this and can maybe even start some discussions of your own. This has been Edward Brady reporting for Across Campus.
Any donation helps for those who have been affected by Hurricane Florence. Thank you once again, Ed, for that report. Faithful to Catholic tradition and to our Dominican heritage of scholarship and service, you've heard this every day here at Bishop Lynch High School. It's our mission statement. But have you ever dissected what the mission statement truly means? Luke has a little bit more on how Sister Cecilia's class dissected our mission statement.
The mission statement has been around for a long time, and just now Sister C is revamping it by adding actions. Let's see what she has for us.
All right, when we start our morning, we always pray, and when we pray, we fold our hands in reverence. We also pledge allegiance to the flag, and we put our hands over our heart to show where that is. So it occurred to me that when we're doing the Bishop Lynch Mission Statement, we should also have some appropriate actions, which would help us remember the words that we're saying and give them more meaning to us as we say them every day. So, mission statement says, faithful to Catholic tradition and to our Dominican heritage of scholarship and service, Bishop Lynch High School promotes the development of the total person by bringing together a diverse community, and so we look around at the people around us, in a rigorous college environment, college preparatory environment, where students are taught to strive for excellence, seek truth, and work for justice in the world. And my students decided they wanted jazz hands at the end, so it didn't just look so repetitious. So that helps us talk about the total person. It helps us look at the diverse community, rigorous college preparatory environment. So it just helps us remember the words better and gives us something to do in the morning.
Thank you, Sister C, for truly striving for excellence in the community. This has been Luke Snyder reporting for Across Campus.
Hopefully that brings a better meaning to you about what our mission statement is all about. Thank you once again, Luke, for that report. Cell phones. It seems like they're everywhere in today's society. Almost every single person has one. But did you know there's a faculty member here at Bishop Lynch High School who was the first person in the DFW metroplex to turn on a cell phone? Benson and Sebastian have a little bit more about this report.
We use phones every single day to have access to limitless knowledge and to connect ourselves to the world. But it wasn't always like that. BL's very own Mr. Zihlman was actually the very first person to turn on and use a phone in the DFW area.
I had an automotive accessory business, and I was a distributor of ARA manufacturing, which we handled all auto accessories, and phones was part of it. Right. Once we installed it, the manufacturing that I was a distributor of wanted to be part of it, so we took the car over to the manufacturing, and they want to be part of it, turning it on. So we all went through it right there and made a call. It went through.
The first mobile phone call was made on April the 3rd, 1973 by Motorola employee Martin Cooper.
Phone was in the car style. It was huge, a big old phone with the cord, and nothing like what we have today. It's more like a house phone.
My first experience with a cell phone was one that you'd almost need a shoulder strap to carry.
Wow.
It was literally about this big, and it had an antenna. And if you wanted to use it in your car, you had to plug in the car antenna because the signal wasn't quite strong enough. Then Motorola started coming up with belt attachments that you could have.
The first commercial mobile phone was released in 1983, titled the Motorola Dyna TAC 8000X, with a price of $3,995.
No, it was very exciting because it's new technology starting to take off, and it was kind of neat being part of it.
I really think the notion about cell phones is going to continue to fade in importance. The way y'all communicate today isn't cell phones. I'll call my children up to ask how things are going, and they don't answer their phone.
Yeah.
I leave a message, and they don't listen to the message, so why even bother? Oh, I text them, and I might get a response back. So the effort of making a telephone call has already been diluted with the different ways of communicating that are non-speech oriented. I'm not real happy about that, but then again, I'm an old guy. Y'all probably just love it.
I think phones can be very beneficial, not just communication, but just like projecting like information. So in the future, I think it'll just be like one of our main sources of information.
Technology is evolving all around us at an unprecedented rate, and you have the opportunity of a lifetime to participate in it. This has been Sebastian Posey and Benson Brunkhorst reporting for Across Campus.
Who knew that a BL faculty member had such a big piece in DFW's history? Thank you once again, Sebastian and Benson, for that report. Thank you for watching this week's edition of Across Campus. We'll see you next week, where the news is, right where you are, across campus.